Greetings and salutations. Hey, it's May. All those. Hi, I'm Ben. That's Terry. That's Tom. We're Canucks with guitars and other stuff like soda pop, Canada. All the above? None of the above. Never.
Guitar rap.
You're you. We're us. It's live Q&A because it's live. I hit the button. It says. And you got the Q's. We got the A's. Sometimes R's. You'll find out about the R's. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back, my friend. How's it going, Terry?
Good news, actually. Earlier, I went to the diabetic nurse, and
He cracks open a
all
pop.
my test results from my blood work from December to just 2 weeks ago. Awesome. My AC1 level went from 8.9. I'm now down to the top of the optimum range at 6.5.
BEAUT full, Terry. I like to hear that. You got to keep her under 7 if you're Canadian. You can be up in the hundreds if you're American, but keep her under. It's kind of like Tom. It's like alkalies. Keep it under 7, is what I'm saying. You know.
There you go.
And how are you doing, Tom?
Doing all right. I had they had my bloodletting again today. They took my blood once a week now, so
That's not too shabby. Not too shabby.
yeah.
All right. Well, you had a late night on Saturday night. You know, you were up to almost 3 a.m.
We were up late.
Yeah, Terry, we did something we hadn't done in a long time. We stayed up until the wee hours of the morning just shooting the shit.
Oh, wow.
We might have been off the air longer than we were on the air.
Yeah, Tom's nodding off, and I'm like, he's like, I got to get some sleep. I'm like, yeah, but you do. And then Tony and I kept talking. Also, I was like, I remember looking at it, was 3:09 a.m. and I'm like, I should sleep.
I think I got off about 2:30 or 2:40, something like that.
Yeah,
like I gotta go.
That happened.
I'm passing out, and Ben was like, "You are passing out." I'm like, I'm so tired. Exactly. Like we were having a great time, but I was just so tired.
Yeah. It was awesome. Who do we have in the chat here? We have Dan of New Jersey, Paul McNary, Christopher Livesawa, Janice Lala, LRM Guitars, Keith Campbell, Zach Thong, Doug Strong. They rhyme. And they're both Canadian. Perfect. Joe Herbie 84, Thomas Santiago. Tony even sang your name the other night. It was awesome. JP Page 2. BC Rich 581. Because the previous 580 BC Riches were taken.
Don't even ask about BC Rich 582.
Don't. He's just a poser.
You don't even want to know.
What's up, T. Ricky, Tim Thomas, Billy Baloney, Fruitcake Tony, Tim Thomas, Joe Herbie 84, Billy Baloney, Doug Strong, Terry's in the chat and on screen. Well, just hog the internet, Terry. Just hog all the internet. Or multitasking, depending on how you look at it. You know, internet half empty or full. Mine's mostly empty. Ryan Hall's here. Chris from Coburg's here. Let's get into some. Oh, that I already am pre-gaming it. All right. I think, yeah, I got all those people. Yeah. We said hi to them. Oops. I did not say hi to any of those people, though. Like Terry Heim, Symmetry. Right. Got them. Vince RJ.
Tony.
Boomer. Mike Jones. Edwin Crane.
Boomster Black.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear, Janice. I am so sorry to read that, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that as well.
So sorry to hear that.
I'm really sorry. That sucks.
Well, moment of silence. We'll be with you, Janice. And Janice has been I've known Janice now for, 5 years almost. Virtually. And we've done some hangs together.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an OG.
Oh, excuse me.
For sure.
I've always been a fan of Janice's stuff.
Yeah, Guitar Man 45.
Guitar Man 45.
Yeah, there's been, there really has been a lot of sad things going on the last couple weeks in and around the YouTube guitar.
Understatement. Yes, we were off last week due to the passing of David Nesdall. Found out early Monday morning, and I didn't feel like doing a show.
I think you're right, Janice. He is in a much better place now. He's not, not feeling the pain, not feeling sick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hardest for
Robbie Johnson says, Ben, I bought a Jaguar. I assume a guitar because, it's not Canucks with pets. Could be.
Cars.
But Jaguar. Cool.
Jaguar.
I never really got into the offsets. I played a few of them. Like Richie went through an offset phase, so I played all his. That's how you go through an offset phase without laying out any money. Just play his. Same reason he used to. It got to the point, I told you before, Terry, I used to, because we would jam at Richie's, for band practice, and I had a pedal board over there and a guitar over there at all times.
Yeah.
You can think early days, because I would show off a different guitar, because the guitar I would show off each week was the guitar I was playing there each week, generally. And it got to the point where Rich would be like, hey, I want to bring blah, blah, blah over to, I want to hear how it sounds opposite this guitar in the mix. I'm like, all right. And then he's like, don't suppose a guy would be willing to leave that here for the week? It's like, why don't you just say so? Because if I wanted to take something home, I would. But I don't think I was playing at home at all at the time. So that's one of the reasons I left gear there all the time. So, yeah, I get it. Chris from Coburg ordered a Wino Epiphone. Nice. There's a few of the Cantrells now. Isn't there like a white, off-white,
There's
pearly
a white Prophecy
glitter
one that has Fishman's in it, and
Right.
a oval kind of inlay.
Yeah,
and
the
then
Prophecy
there's
inlays. I think they are.
Yeah, and then the other
Oh,
one.
he bought a car of the
is-
Jag. Even better.
Oh,
I was
My favorite kind of Jaguar in the world, really, because, let's be honest, the actual animal scares the fuck out of me, Tom. Just saying. Honest. The guitars, I'm good, but I don't own a Jaguar, which are great until they break.
well, hopefully he got one of the Jaguars that actually has a good transmission in it.
Oh, yeah. As long as you don't drive the piss out of them. My uncle's got a vintage one he loves.
That was the one thing I always heard about Jaguars as a car, is that their transmissions were terrible up until recently.
On and off. The only issue with Jaguar was over here. It was, there's Jaguar dealerships in the city, but they're basically just in Toronto. But it's like, hey, they're owned by Ford, so you can take them there. And then you take them there, and the technician's like, what the hell? We do not work on it. It's like the only fortunate thing is you have people that are mechanically inclined working there, so that they can figure out. Okay, that like the fuel pump isn't working. They figure, oh man, this is a pain in the ass. Figure it out. And you bust 3 knuckles and you charge time and a half. That's how that works. Hey, Eddie Van Haskell. Johnny Love. I think Johnny Love's in the UK. Remember that. So that's cool. Robert Ramford's here. Michael Krause. He's like, I'm late, damn it. 7 minutes. You know how it is, though. That's like 2 of my tangents and 1 Terry rant.
And reminder, don't get a shower right before you're going to put on headphones, because then you have water dripping out of your ear into the headphones and it keeps itching. I'm like, oh, it's driving me
Oh,
nuts.
God.
It's like, ah.
5-speed
Yeah,
training, that's great. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of
It
weird.
is. So is this the car
especially when you
portion
got
of the show?
in-ears.
Because I don't know if I told you guys. No, because we didn't have a show last week. I was talking with my uncle on the phone. My uncle Lang, who used to race the motorcycles.
Yep.
Real fast, right? So I don't know. Let's say 20. Oh yeah, easy. 20 years. He's owned one of those Porsche Boxsters. He's owned one basically since they came out, right? And he always dug it. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Oh, apparently my rants are longer than 7 minutes. Well, we'll see. Well, this is a story more than a rant. So, anywho, he's had this Boxster, and he's about Dad's age. Okay, so he's decided he's been going out to the Porsche track days and festival days. they have them around the various road courses, around the province. I was like, oh, that's cool. And knowing that he's a former professional racer, I'm sure he has fun, especially at this age, at his age too, because you're like, oh, that guy's like 70. Like, how fast can he be competitive on the track? I don't know if he still rides or not, but I know when he used to go out riding, he'd be like, oh yeah, we went up here. I'm like, well, that's a nice 2-hour ride. He's like, 45 minutes, You're like, oh, okay. So he found the Boxster Tom wasn't quite doing it for him. So he bought a Porsche GT3.
Oh, wow. That's a bit different. Yeah. My neighbor used to be a Porsche dealer. And
that's the other end of the spectrum.
Big difference. Yep.
It's not a 911. It remotely looks like a 911, but it's a race car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said 562 or 560 something horsepower.
It makes the Boxster look like a station wagon.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, I mean.
Tom, some nice specs on it. Yeah, 3,200 pounds, 560 some odd horse. It's got a magnesium roof. I was like, really? Wow. Oh,
is it for weight?
Yeah. Yeah, as well as the carbon fiber hood. Of course.
Wow, nice.
So
no expense
to play with. And I was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, I'll probably be down at Shannonville for a track day. I'm like, really? Shannonville's on the other side of Belleville? Put it this way, Tom. It's basically in the res. So, yeah.
Joe Hervey nailed it. All the horsepower. Yeah. All the horsepower.
Exactly. And he's like, oh, it's fun. I'm like, oh, I bet. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't see some Canucks with exactly some. Stop, unbelievable. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're feeling better today than you were yesterday. I know yesterday was tough for you, man. Yeah, he
Porsches, exactly.
Yeah, he sounds like he's having fun with it. I was like, I bet you are, bud. I bet you. And Tom, it's one of those things. Like, if you got the money to buy one, mazel. What are you gonna do? Let it sit in the bank? Like, you can't take it with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? As the saying goes, you only live once.
And like, the business is profitable. The kids can take over the business, right? Like, I'm sure he takes a paycheck from it just for the sake of taking a paycheck from it. Because really, honestly, it's more for tax reasons than anything else. You would take a paycheck.
Yeah.
So, and I think he still owns it. So, like, outright, it's totally private and that. Like, I don't think he's given the kids shares yet or something like that. But yeah, he's talking about that and doing this and that, and he's having a fun. And I was like, that's great, man. Love to hear it.
Congrats, Randy.
Hey, what's up?
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, he did.
Now has
you did. You got the 68. Yeah, he texted me when he got it, Tom, and he's like, so where should I put this in the signal chain? I'm like, this is what it is. This is what it does. Put it here. Like, I didn't even do it depends. You can put it here or there. No, just because I know what other stuff you have. Just here. What's up, John Shane?
Hey, John.
The guitar-powered car, the faster you play, the faster it goes. Move over. You have the ballad lane. It's not the slow lane. It's the ballad lane. Damn shredder on my ass.
What bothers you more, guys, when you go to
a Guitar says, I hope the car doesn't need 93 octane. If you can afford a GT3, you can afford the gas to put in it.
And it's probably a $5,000 or $6,000 oil change.
He's doing well. Yeah. Like, assuming, let's just say, Tom, that if things are steady from the last time I talked to him, not to brag on him or anything, because I just think he's a cool guy. He's the next racer that did well, who was innovative. That, me, I love the tinkerers, and that's how it started. He had a bike, it wasn't competitive. Nice. He made it competitive. He took those ways he made stuff because guys are me and guys like, hey, you beat me. Can you do my bike? yeah, I made one of these. They're like, oh, far out. Here's a couple $100.
Wow.
He's like, sweet. And so that's bankrolled to just the muffler sales for exhaust systems are $1 million a year.
Wow.
So
nice. Hey, Amanda.
Yeah. And that was maybe 20 years ago. So I can only imagine. What's up, sis?
Oh, yeah.
It seems like when people are doing what they really want for the right reason, it seems like they're successful a lot higher percentage of the time.
Well, and part of the thing is
his heart's in it, you know.
When you build performance exhaust systems for motorcycles, a lot of things happen. Everybody drops a bike at some point, so you end up replacing just the muffler. Or the baffles could wear out, whatever. There's reasons to just slip on.
Right.
Something milk. And so, yeah. Oh, and let's have a round of applause in the chat for Amanda last night's show. Apparently, she's going somewhat viral, folks. I'm not saying, but I'm saying, Tom. Looking live count is 758 views on last night's show.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool.
Apparently, people like her.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, it's always fun. Always fun, just hanging out, shooting the breeze. It's an easy show. And like she came on, she's like, so what are we gonna talk about? I'm like, we're just gonna hang. Like you're my sister. Yeah.
Well, she always brings up good stories too when she's on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta find that. I have one photo of the corner of my bedroom at one time where my desk was, Tom, and it's like because at that time teachers wanted stuff typed out. And I think I did all my book reports and crap on a Commodore 64 with a printer.
I remember those well.
Yeah, that was it. So there's a photo of that with the death, and then the Motley Crue, and then just Batman memorabilia everywhere. Because you remember when that movie came out, that first movie, Terry. Holy crap! They had for 2+ years just the logo. That would not, or it would just, it might say June 23rd with the date, whatever year it was. But at first it was just because they did it like one subway stations in Toronto. I think they did that in a few subway stations, but it's only like one in the city. You're just like, that's Batman logo, but it's not the usual Batman black and yellow. It's black and gold. What's going? I'm like, what's going? You'd hear about this, and because I collected comics at the time, the comic community, they're like. I think there's going to be a movie, but it's not going to be out for a couple of years. And you're like, oh, really now? We haven't had one of those superhero movies in quite some time. Yep.
Now it's almost a regular occurrence.
Yeah. It's its own genre.
Yeah.
It's not a one-off. It's a genre. And one of the dominant genres. Mm-hmm. When they make a superhero movie, they'll watch it. The kids will watch it on repeat. It's like Disney. Disney. What do you do? I don't know. Put a princess in it? I don't know. Make a fairy tale? Have we tried a cartoon? And a new Star Wars movie once a year. Because why not? For years and years, Terry, that community is like, we want something new. We only have the original trilogy. And then Lucas is like, all right, well, I'm going to mess those up by recutting them 1,500 times. That's and then he's like, all right, I'll do the prequels. You're like, all right, yay. And then you watch it, you're like, holy fuck, this is nuts.
Sure.
And then he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm out. And then when you're like, oh, it wouldn't be awesome. We had more Star Wars. Find out how it goes from there and stuff. And then Disney buys and goes, here's all the Star Wars. Here's all the Star Wars. All the Star Wars. We're going to go off this way and that way, and it'll all intersect. And here's all the Star Wars, which is awesome. Except it's not all the Star Wars. It's all the Star Wars except the original Star Wars because we can't afford those people. So we'll give you everything else.
Mama Fett, Papa Fett.
Yeah. Or if we want the character of one of the originals, we'll do a prequel. Yeah. We hire any kid.
I like the Mandalorian. That was pretty good. But the Boba Fett one's cool because they have the.
That's the thing. Like
when
we did the 3 prequels, I was done. I tapped out after that. I was like, nope, I'm done. I did not watch another one because I was like, they sucked. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
I
they were
compared
not
to the
bad.
original trilogy, I was like, they sucked. I'm sorry. As its own trilogy.
Yeah, and now they're going to be
And
doing
then,
the
yeah,
Obi-Wan.
so I gave up on the franchise.
Yeah, now they're going to be doing the Obi-Wan, and the Obi-Wan series is supposed to fill in when the time all the way up to when they find Obi-Wan in the desert or whatever. And it's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, like that. Well, yeah,
It'd
well,
be
that's
like-
the thing you can take.
it's
He was
gonna be like
not
3
around
and a
for
half.
12 years, and that 12 years can become 12 seasons of a TV series,
Yeah.
basically.
Obi-Wan is a name I've not gone by.
Yeah, I had a hard time watching the 3 prequels, Terry, even after, because George Lucas screwed with the originals so much,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, because I remember, like, when they re-released, like, and it was like, the Star Wars was, let's say, 22 minutes longer when they re-released it in the theaters and all that in the 90s, and we all went down. And I just remember watching it, and I was like, really didn't need the extra scenes. And it's blatantly obvious where you've added characters, because the CGI, I don't care how, CGI even to this day is pretty, you can still kind of, well, maybe not today, but you know what I mean? Especially in the 90s. Like, yeah, I know it's shaded, but it looks like all of a sudden it's Clash of the Titans with claymation or something. Like, it was like grainy, like, the hell? The hell? And yeah. No. The original was long enough. It was good.
Oh,
It flowed. It was great.
I love Maltesers.
I haven't had a Malteser in probably 30 years. Maybe.
Yeah, they're hard
They
to
don't
come
sell
by.
them here, but I had someone just bring me some from England.
Explosion at the end. Yeah, it's an explosion. If I want to see explosions, I watch the A-Team. I'll watch a Schwarzenegger movie. That was the whole point, because it's a space western. There was a plot. Explosion. Yeah, boom. All right. It doesn't have to be too cheesy. You don't put a firecracker in a cupcake and call it the Death Star or anything like that.
They should have pulled back, and it should have been like a super low quality explosion, like meant to look like a 4th grader filmed it, just to mess with all the super fans.
Yeah.
Little like an M80 inside of, like you said, like put the M80 inside of hollowed out like a cupcake, and then it goes in, and you see.
Well, like Johnny Love, like that. It's funny about that. He's like, I remember thinking Jaws had great special effects when I was a kid. Well, in the original movie, the Jaws machine was kind of crappy. So you only see it for like, was it 2 minutes of screen time in the entire movie? Like actual, when you add all the quick shots together, mixed in with shots of real sharks, basically. So really, but by the second one, it was much better. But that's the awesome thing about real. I've always been a fan of special effects for that reason. Like you got to make something that isn't real look real, at least on film. And that's sometimes it looks real. Like you watch in person, you're like, that does not look real. But when with the lighting and the cameras and the angles, you're like, ooh, that looks real.
Yeah, the angles and lighting, man, huge effect.
Yep.
And nowadays, because everything's too perfect, when something looks really cheesy and bad, there's a lot of people that are like, yes!
Yeah.
Because they like that chaos.
Well, and it's like, I like, okay, you can have CGI for some stuff. Like, I don't know, like if it's a Godzilla movie. Like, I'd rather have you CGI Godzilla than, like, have a guy with the fucking styrofoam balls all over him stomping on a city, but CGI in Godzilla. I don't want to see Barney because it's a guy dressed up as Godzilla stomping on a city. Like, I get that, but then some of I don't know. You got to have some real stuff.
Makes
like
me think
all
about
CGI. It's just,
Makes
I don't
me
know.
think about
You got to
the
suspend
Jackass
belief
Forever.
too much. You might as well make a cartoon at that point.
The
I
Jackass
don't know, just
Forever
watch Cars.
opening.
Michael Krause is back. Welcome back. We have 55 people watching. Awesome. Please give a thumbs up if you haven't already. Hey, since we're 25 minutes in, we got 55 people watching. I'm going to read off the patrons. If you'd like to get your name read off, become a patron at the link right there or link down below. And you get your name read off, like Guitar Man 45, should have took a breath. Symmetry, Paul McNary, Joe C, Keith H, Zero, Unfucking Believable, Charles 75, and John ZD351, Chief Page 2, for K Tony, Ben Tom, that guy, Blackjack Guitar, Grunt Mike Guitar, Custom Flowers, Charles Green, Absolute Mayhem, Other Left, Randy Crooks, Mohogany, and LRM's Guitars. Ding.
Mike Jones, don't need TV. We got aliens next door.
We're just the third rock from the sun. Or whatever other people call the sun. Or other things call the sun. Can't judge. They may not be people. They may be, like I say, other things. I can't get more general than that. Other beings. They may be ambient. Who knows? They could be modulated. Hopefully. We'll get along. If they're modulated, we'll get along. They're like, I like your style. I thought you would.
Maybe they're made up of like some sort of organic nano material that they can just take the shape of whatever. You know, like Terminator kind of thing.
Randy does bring up an interesting point.
Randy Price, we don't need aliens, but you got meth heads across the street.
Well, yeah.
You all have our own reality shows.
Yeah, you don't need A&E.
Yep.
When you
Yeah,
got
just,
going on.
Just turn the couch towards the bay window. Draw back the curtains, Terry. Turn off the lights so it's not obvious. Have bars on the windows are nice if you got meth heads across the road.
When I see meth heads, I just I call them NPCs because it's like you're in a video game. They're NPCs coming at you. There's one. It's if you just look up on YouTube and put in like under hashtags skooma NPC. And it's like someone coming up to him like, come on, man, I need a turkey sandwich. And he's like, here's $1. No, I need a turkey sandwich. It's like, you are not allowed to leave this NPC.
Oh my God, Randy wins the chat tonight. I'm sorry, Mexican Americans.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. What's up, Lawrence? Oh,
hey, Lawrence.
Sir Lawrence of the Pedals. Terry, you heard me playing off air. Tone on point this evening?
Mexican Americans.
Very much so.
It's Lawrence's fault. Lawrence's fault.
Branded just Mexican Americans. Yeah. You can't say that. No, they're Mexican Americans.
Yeah. They're their own minority.
Did I get my ears lowered?
I do have a lisp, but they're still Mexican Americans. That's a good one.
Oh, I'm not gonna forget that one. I hope you made that. I hope that was original, Randy. That was gold. Well, yeah, John. I too. I was running the Embers tonight into the 87 on the Red Channel. Oh, excuse me. It was awesome. It was heavy and awesome.
That's bad.
Yeah, there you go. It's a new song coming from Trent Reznor and David Bowie. I'm afraid of meth Americans.
Yeah, I want to have meth Americans.
We should all be afraid. Hey, there's Charles.
Hey, Charles.
I thought of you when I was reading off the patrons. I was like, I haven't seen Charles this eve. Yes, you did, Milt. First weekend in May. It was last weekend. Well, not even this weekend. It was, last weekend. You missed it.
Yeah, speaking of which, I've seen another advertisement for
they don't want it.
The Cult touring, and again, the Cult will be up around my part June 30th at Casino Rama.
You know, that's a sign you're feeling a little old when your favorite bands are playing the casino tours.
Cars and Meth sounds like a punk country band. Hey, we're Cars and Meth.
Playing Psychobilly.
Red
We sing about cars and meth.
We sing about what we know.
It's Motorhead with less gain, basically.
Yes, basically.
There you go, and at the opening of every show, thank you, Seattle, but it's Colorado. Oh, Colorado!
Same thing.
And Colorado. We still appreciate Seattle.
Yeah, there's a few. Starting to see it in this area a little more. I was picking up Amanda at the bank a while back, and we're about to back out of the come out of the parking spot. Tom, gentleman's walking through, right, and he's trying to walk straight, but and Amanda's like, oh, it's terrible. What meth does. And I'm like, that ain't meth. Like, that guy's nodding. He shot up about 45 minutes ago, and he is nodding because he was stopping. He's trying to light a smoke, and he's nodding as he's trying to light a smoke. And I'm like, dude, it ain't gonna happen. You just need to pull up a curb and just ride it out for the next hour. Like, dude, I understand you need to get where you're going because I'm hoping it's home. Jesus.
There's a place in Philly, a section like that. The whole area, it's called Kensington. Not to be confused with the nice area, Kensington in the London suburbs. But Kensington, the Kensington part of Philly, man, it's just people like falling face forward and then ass back on the ground and hitting their head on a metal pole because they're just nodding like so hard. And then they just fall into it.
I forgot about that, Tom. The guy stopped and he put his mask on after he left the store. And he was nodding. It wasn't lighting the smoke. He was nodding because he got on and then his head kind of fell into his hand. I'm like, dude, you're standing. You can't rest your head like in your hand while you're standing. So, yeah, kind of a Night of the Walking Dead situation. Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Kind of reminds me, like here in my town, there's a guy that goes around every morning. He goes around begging. He'll look in cars and whatever else, and he'll be like, "Hey, you got $1? Hey, you got $1?"
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, then somebody said, "Yeah, the guy isn't necessarily a druggie, but he's more like an alcoholic, and he goes around, he bugs people until he gets enough money to go get a beer."
Yep.
I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, exactly, Randy. It was definitely an opiate. So, yeah. Anyway, on to guitars. It wasn't Gene's.
This is Benzo talk.
Yeah, Lower East Side. I know. My buddy Riot spends a lot of time down there, and yeah. Oh, Milt said Alice Cooper's playing the casino he works at, which is Casino Windsor. Guitar Man 45, if you're up for seeing Cooper, he's going to be playing Caesar's Windsor, I think it's called. Give me $1.
Yeah, it definitely won't be Cooper in the Hollywood Vamps. Because Johnny's still in trial.
I think Joe's on tour anyways. I think Aerosmith is touring.
Yeah.
That's low on the agenda, like because Alice tours a lot too. It's like good luck, right? That's just kind of when everybody's around.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if Nina is touring with him or if she's on her own.
Nina's touring with him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yep, she does all the runs because it's mostly flying dates these days for them, right? They are just all flying together, pretty much.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of bands are finally starting to get out and tour again, which is good.
Oh, everybody's getting out there. And
yeah.
Like I looked up the Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, Joan Jett, schmozzle thing, and Fifth Ring at Skydome or Rogers Center or Roger Dome or Sky Center. I don't know what it's called these days. Fifth Ring, though. It was $85, and I'm like, No.
Man, it's all so expensive.
That's not
these days.
bad.
It's crazy.
No, it's not good because I'm going to watch them on the screen. I'll wait for the
Yeah.
DVD.
Yeah,
Assuming they make a DVD.
I agree with you.
It's still that's still not bad compared to, like I said, when Red Hot Chili Peppers were supposed to be coming there soon. And it was like even the cheapest seat was like 185 in, like you said, the nosebleeds. And I was just like, I'd love to see them because you never know when they're going to not tour again or whatever.
I'd rather see another band of the same vintage that's just as good, that's not as successful for a third the price. At a 600-seat theater, like that place that you saw Albert Lee at. Like that's about a 600-seat theater.
Couple hundred was in our civic musical center, cultural center. So it was like 200-300, but yeah, I mean it was only like $35, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
there definitely needs
the
to
Empire
be things
here
like that again.
Oh my god, yeah, it was weird. Empire Rock Fest here. They have TLC coming this year as one of the artists. I'm like, really? I'm like, cool, I guess. I like if it's the original lineup, I guess, because pretty sure they broke up and did their own things or whatever. I don't know. I did. Yeah, there was a lot of bands like TLC. I don't know who did what and stuff, because I wasn't into it. But there is actually.
As Tom was saying, Left Eye passed away for, I can't remember what the cause was, but she wouldn't be in that. But still, they were such a talented group as it was. They could throw anyone else in there and it would still be the same thing.
Are you ready to party? Sure. All right. So the lineup is, are you ready for this, Terry? Tom? Now, remember, this is Ontario, Canada, Belleville, let's say 40,000 people. Okay. And then we got another, say, 40,000 around, 50,000 around. So it's not a large market is what I'm saying, Terry. Right? Similar to, like you would have summer festivals up around that are like, you know what I mean? That are going to draw. So Thursday is TLC, 112. I am not knowing, and Jenny Bergen of Ace of Base. I'm like, sure.
Just like the size of the town I grew up in, York, Pennsylvania, it's about 44,000 total people.
But is there another bigger center near it?
No,
there's nothing near us. No, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing.
That is weird. Yeah.
Okay, so this is good, Terry. I dig Friday night. You ready for this lineup?
Sure.
The Headstones.
Ooh.
The Tea Party.
Oh.
And Crowned Lands. And Crowned Lands, I know and dig. I've been promoting them on this channel for years. They're a duo out of Oshawa. Kind of think White Stripes, but instead of White Stripes, Tom, they do Rush tunes. And they're a duo.
Oh, cool.
Rush and Zeppelin type stuff. They're amazing. So that's super cool.
That's cool.
That's a good lineup. Like the Tea Party, I think they broke globally with some of their stuff.
There's from what I know,
enough that the singer ended up living in Australia for a number of years. But and Headstones, they rock. They're a good rocking band. So that's cool. And then Friday, we have the Glorious Sons, okay, the Blue Stones, and the Jake Clemens Band. Of course, you have the Jake Clemens Band, which is Clarence Clemens from the E Street Band, his son Jake.
Yep. Oh,
because,
okay.
You know why they're on the bill? Because the owner of the Empire Theater, Mark Rashad, who also runs the Empire Rock Fest, is in the band. Hey, Aljon, go!
Gotcha. Hey,
and I ran into Mark Rashad at NAMM the last time I was out there. So yeah, that's cool. It's a nice lineup. I didn't know TLC was playing together. But apparently so. Blue Stones, I'm not familiar. I got to check them out. I don't know who that is. But the Tea Party and the Headstones together with Crown Lands, that's a good night.
So I said it's weird when you mention that lineup. It actually goes from a larger band to a smaller band.
Well, I think it's in reverse order. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Headstones would open for the Tea Party.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I can't
Headstones
remember
are
the last
doing
time
newer
Nickelback
stuff.
played around here, Randy Price. A long time.
Oh God.
Like a long time. Theory of Dead Man. I saw Theory of Dead Man around here. Man, that sucked. It's a terrible show.
Yeah. Nickelback, I think, has actually only ever done like studio albums the last little while. I don't think they've actually done anything as an actual tour.
Nice. Well, it's good to see Aljon's got the night off. Awesome.
Oh, nice, Eljon.
Nice. So yeah, Empire Rock Fest. It is back at least. I didn't see what I don't know what tickets are because they do a nightly or a weekend thing. Johnny A. There's so many cool Canadian bands. That we were talking about that the other night off air. Tom, Tony, and I because my sister and I are going to be invading for a Canada Day special on July 2nd on the Fruitcake Tony channel, and we're talking great Canadian bands. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Got out early. Awesome. So of course we came up with the thing was Tom or Terry it was that literally like last night, famous not famous. You know, it's like April 9th, famous, Rush, famous, Triumph, famous, and then it's like Chilliwack, famous? No, famous. No. Stuff like that. Well, thanks, Keith. It's always fun hanging with my sister. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, Randy. Through Dead Man, we're better before Chad he did the sound to them. Made them sound like Nickelback.
Yeah, Mike Jones, Tea Party, he says Tea Party were like what Greta Fleet is sort of a blast from the past for their time, but original. Yeah, well, I guess you could really say the Tea Party was more doing the Led Zeppelin thing before.
Oh, I don't know. I thought, no, the Doors. The Doors.
Yeah.
Jeff Martin was just like Jim Morrison. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about? You sing just like him. You look like him. You dress like him. The only difference is you play guitar.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that is the one thing that Jim Morrison did was he never played an instrument.
No, granted, Jeff Martin is an amazing player. I got to see him. Rich and I went to see the Tea Party at the Empire. I think we sat around like fourth row, Terry, so we could just right in front of Jeff. And he had 2 Les Pauls, and he swapped after every song because you could tell he's really particular about his tuning because he still checked the tuning when it was handed to him, Tom, after every song. And I tell it was the same 2 going back and forth. A couple of nice bursts. And sounded great, of course. And the only thing I didn't like is he insisted we all stand for the whole set. And I'm like, I don't want to. I get bad legs. I want to stand. I can't. If I'm walking around, I'm okay, but standing one spot is not good. I was prepared to sit down. Had I known, I would have thrown a knee brace on or something. But it's like, dang. Okay, I guess.
Randy Price was saying here, never understood why Big Wreck never got big. Well,
they're bigger now.
I would have to say more along the lines the whole Celtic sound movement didn't break as big as the resurgence of country music back in the late 90s.
I think you're mixing them up with Great Big Sea, dude. I'm like, Big Wreck is Ian Thornley. They've been famous since the 90s in Canada, and then they broke big around the world in the last 10 years. Big Wreck, yeah. Great Big Sea. It's Celtic music. If you're into it, you're into it. I'm not. I shouldn't say I like Celtic music. I don't like Great Big Sea because the first 4 hits they had in Canada, Tom, all cover songs. And I had an issue with it. You know what Amanda said last night's show, how I went through my independent period? And I was like, you know, if it's mainstream, it's bollocks. It was during that time that they broke, and I'm just like, I'm listening to stuff from Sub Pop. Leave me alone. Yeah.
Most Canadian bands.
But I did like Big Wreck. I liked all the big bands. Big Wreck, Big Sugar.
Yeah. Was there any Canadian
Well,
bands that weren't
well, the
named
weird part
Big?
and Tom, see, you're snickering. Okay, they both break within a year or two of each other. They're both trios because Canadian, got to play as a trio at least to start out, and they both played EDS 1275s. Because Gordy Johnson from Big Sugar plays a lot of slide, and so and he just distorted. It was awesome playing through Garnet Head because why not? Into a bunch of stuff. He's really cool. He had a lot of Jack White leanings before Jack White hit the scene. Before it was socially acceptable to take a totally weird guitar, because it was the early 90s, but nobody was playing through a Garnet Head. Well, they were in the 70s, but not necessarily by choice. It's a Canadian company that were okay, but that's the secret sauce to his tone. EDS 1275 through a Garnet. And then out to, I think, high watts.
Unique.
Big Sugar should have been named Big Volume. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to hear some good though blues rock, and then they did some kind of reggae stuff, Terry. Like Turn the Lights Out,
Yep.
or Turn the Lights On.
Out, yeah.
Turn the Lights Out, yeah. Because they were cool. They had this old dude playing bass with dreadlocks down to his ass. I'm like, who's that dude? I don't know him before, and he's just
awesome bass player.
He was an amazing bass player. I wish I remember his name.
I can't remember his name, but I think he died not that long ago from like cancer or something.
Yes, and this is weird. 2 nights in a row, two. Tony Springer has come up in conversation. Tony Springer, formerly known as Wild T of Wild T and the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He was our Lenny Kravitz. He came out, remember, Harry, when he broke with Loveland. It was right when Lenny Kravitz was doing his second album, Tom, and he was wearing the feather boas and the big sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of a sudden, Wild T shows up, a big sunglasses, feather boa, and I'm like, all right, you going for the, why not? So he's Canada Lenny Kravitz type. But before he was a huge Hendrix disciple, so now he does a Hendrix clone type thing, or tribute act, I guess would be the word these days. So
yeah,
that's what Tony Springer's doing, and does the club circuits and does that act and does well with it, from what I understand. I've had some buddies open for him.
Yeah,
cool.
Actually, the one bar that used to exist here, that was
bar.
actually 2 of the big acts they actually were able to pull in at the time was actually Big Sugar and Wild T and the Spirits.
Because Big Sugar played everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was a reasonable rate because they were still very DIY, even when they had a record deal. Be like, Tom, we got this date and this date. They're like, well, we could pick up a date in between for, say, $1,000. And they're like, screw it. And then that bar in town can charge $8 or something at the time. And you pack the place. And it's a rockin' night with Big Sugar. And it's like, yeah, this was awesome. Big Sugar played the bar in town. You're like, whatever. I was up at the cottage. Never even heard about it. You missed out, Bubbaloo. Oh, you missed out.
Yeah, I think they charged like 20 or 30 a head.
Reasonable. Yeah, it was probably held 150 people?
200 max or so.
Yeah. Hey, St. Brando.
What was it here?
Billy Baloney says he can't stomach tribute bands. You know what? There's always been a tradition of, like, they would do a showcase. So it'd be like 6 tribute bands would play together, and they'd kind of tour around together as an act. I saw it a lot in country. Like, I remember even when my dad was gigging, there was like, there'd be a Hank Williams impersonator, a Johnny Cash, a Willie Nelson, a Dolly Parton, a Loretta Lynn. And then they probably played with the same backing band throughout the night, if anything, I think. And that was a traveling show like anything else. You would book them into a bar like anything else.
Same thing. If you hated Elvis, you avoided Collingwood and around the end of the summer.
Got a friend who's an Elvis impersonator too, Terry. I didn't even know it for years. All of a sudden I found out worked at the same call center as me. And then he quit the call center because the Elvis gig took off.
Yeah.
He was part of that, the live show pre-COVID that was going around what they call it, the $1 Million Session, I think it was called.
Sounds
And
familiar.
it was something like Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, and maybe Carl Perkins or something all jammed one night or something like that. And so they made a musical about it, and he was touring around that, and he would go up and do the Collingwood events and stuff like that. And he was good enough where he wouldn't enter the competitions. He was just there performing at one of the clubs in town,
Yeah.
as paid entertainment. Yeah, he was making like at that time, like I think in the early 2000s, he was making at least $500 a night for the small stuff, and then when he flew into a casino, it could be upwards of $2,000 a night. I was like, damn,
Sounds
you're doing
right.
Elvis? He goes, yep. I was like, which Elvis you doing? He goes, well, I'm skinny. I can do the gold lane suit. I'm like, sweet, you got the full suit? He's like, I got the full suit. I was like, awesome. I'm like, but you have blonde hair. He goes, I wear a wig. That's awesome. When I looked him up, I'm like, that's you. And he wears a lot, you wear a fair amount of makeup and stuff too. So it's almost like stage acting. And it was like,
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. I'm like, if you can make a living, do it, go for it. Which, although, is that got to be a thinning out thing at some point? Elvis impersonators, like, is there is every year are there more Elvis fans being discovering his music and go, oh, I gotta see someone do stuff, like I can't, at some that wave's got to end. It's like the demand for Charlie Chaplin impersonators has got to be dying down by the year.
Yeah. So Ryan
because
Hall,
it's stuff like we know about them more because of our parents. They're famous,
Yeah.
Parents or even grandparents in many cases, and that's the only way you know about this stuff. So you figure, like, Tom, your kids, they don't know. Like, do they know who Evel Knievel is?
Probably not.
Probably not. They might, but probably not. The original YouTuber, where you would have to go on network TV, Tom, and do it live, because there's no way
Pretty
to
much.
do a 30-second debacle.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall asks at 8:46, anyone like or play a Godin guitars? Actually, if you look in my back videos, I had a Godin.
I played a dozen of them. Never played
single
one I didn't like.
humbucker, and it was kind of which was why I ended up getting rid of it.
Oh yeah, Zach. As soon as you go over the Wooler Hill, which is literally a mile west of Trenton, you lose all radio reception. all. You lose all the stations. You got Rock 107. You got local stations. So Rock 107, enjoy. Call into Rick Kevin on his trivia stuff. Tell him Ben says hi. Go, hey, how's Ben doing? I haven't talked to him in a while. He's been there forever. He's like our Johnny Fever. He was a DJ when I was a kid, Tom, and he's still on the air, I believe. I don't think he's actually retired yet. It's awesome.
No Beatles tribute bands. Yeah, I can see that. That's something that was one of those, again, super.
See, a Beatles band that I could kick around. Well, Mark Rashad, that's another side gig he does. He does a Beatles tribute act. So, I don't know. I think you're going to see maybe Kiss. I think there's going to be lots of Kiss, Van Halen. But even then, at some point, that's going to, AC/DC acts. Like, hell, my buddy Scott, he was in AC/DC tribute act in the 80s. And then he folded it up, I think, in the 90s. And then,
I don't see a lot of Hendrix.
And now he's back doing it again once in a while.
anymore.
Yeah, there's not too much Hendrix.
I remember
Ryan Hall, some Godin guitars are made in Canada. Some are made, I believe, in either Vermont or New Hampshire. They have a factory.
And I think they do have.
Apparently, Godin's the only company in the world that outsources and goes to the U.S. Everyone goes to, like, Mexico, China. We'll go to the U.S. I don't know why. It might be for shipping. It was cheaper to build a factory in the long run, because 10 times the population, so chances are, even though you're a Canadian company, at the very least, half your sales are going to be in the U.S. At the very least, as soon as you're well known at all. And Godin's been around for decades at this point. Oh, it was in New Hampshire and it's closed, so they're probably all being made in Canada again then.
Ooh.
John Lato stopped building. I don't know if he builds. Actually, I don't even know if he's still alive. John Lato's still alive at this point?
I don't think he is. I know lots of the instruments are laying around, but
See, it's weird. You know, it's just weird this how this happens in twos. Leo Sofko mentions Lato guitars. Okay. This afternoon, I'm watching racing, right? Because I got to study for tomorrow. Okay, he did pass on, and they're out of business. Thank you, BC Rich. I knew.
Yeah.
I thought BC Rich knew about Latos. We shared that later because I'm like, you know about Latos too? Awesome. Because again, how did they break big? Well, you know, Iron Maiden and some other people use them, you know. But Latos. It was funny because I'm in the Lato guitar group on Facebook. I'm sitting, my phone goes off because apparently, if you're in a Facebook group now, you have the ability to allow others to join said groups as long as you're a member, which is stupid. Like, isn't that what the moderators and admins are for? And the last time I checked, I'm not an admin or a moderator for that group. Maybe I am. I don't know. I didn't look. And it was, who was asking to join, Terry? You never guess. Daryl Gray, a.k.a. bass player for the band Helix.
Oh, jeez.
Who I believe rocked a Lato back in the day.
Wow.
Because he did put them in the hands of a lot of Canadian players.
Yeah.
Yeah. His biggest problem was he was one of those guys that took too many orders on that he could fulfill.
Yeah.
So then stuff became back ordered, and then in a couple cases he may or may not have spent the money. Oops. And kind of did that Kramer thing, Tom, like giving a few too many guitars away, which is probably why he spent the money for the other people's builds. Because all of a sudden, you know, Adrian Smith's like, I need a new guitar. Here you go. And meanwhile, Terry's going, hey, wasn't that my guitar I've been waiting 9 months for? Now,
Yeah.
granted, I'm at the Maiden show at Maple Leaf Gardens, and Adrian's apparently playing my guitar, going, I like my new guitar. And Terry's going, it's my guitar. And Lato's going, all right, I'm going to sell some more Latos. It's Adrian, you know, no. And it was really weird because when Riverside Music opened in the 90s in Trenton, I'm in there one day, and they had Latos, Terry. I'm like, oh, Latos? Really? You know, because this is like late 90s probably, 98, 99. Yeah. In around there, maybe, I'm thinking. And I was like, I didn't even think they were still in business, right? And so I walk over to Pat, the owner, Tom, and I'm like, oh, man, it'd be so cool to meet Mr. Lato. Yeah, that'd be cool. He goes, really? Well, turn around. Because the guy who brought in the guitar cases to stock the shelves was Joe Lato. Because he's a one-man operation. He would just throw a bunch of guitars in his vehicle and then stop at his various dealers around Southern Ontario, I guess. And I was just like, holy crap. It's like, hi, how are you? I'm like, you're cool. I've seen your guitars in music videos. It was like, it'd be like meeting Gary Kramer or something, or, you know, Grover Jackson. He built some cool stuff because he started building the BC Rich style stuff, and then when BC Rich got pointy, he went pointy. And then they went a little more Kramer-like. I get it. Yep. Ride the wave.
Yeah, there was some of that Lato stuff that was just too crazy.
Yeah, well, it's not that big an industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was I was looking through a book on acoustic guitars. I was coming across all these. Bless you. It came across all these Larvaes with these beautiful mother of pearl inlays, Tom. Like, just tits, right?
Over the
like,
top.
You're like, holy crap on a cracker. Like, that fretboard must cost $10,000, you know, type thing. And this is 30 years ago. And because it was just, holy crap. And I'm looking at it, and Dad's like, what kind of guitars I'm like, Larvae? He goes, oh, yeah, Grit did that. I'm like, who? He said, Grit Laskin. I'm like Uncle Grit. I knew him as when I was like 3, briefly. You know, like this Grit lad. I'm like, he played like in a bluegrass band or something, playing mandolin. He goes, he plays everything. I'm always one of those guys, right? apparently the time I saw him, he was playing mandolin. I don't know. But yeah, he was like the inlay guy at Larrivee for like 20, 30 years, like until he retired, basically. All the high-end stuff that you wanted done, which Larrivee was known for, that's all he did was just inlay work at that point. Like, he could build a whole guitar, and I know he did build a lot of them, and I was just like, holy crap. I'm like Amanda said, famous? Famous or famous? And I just remember seeing him at folk festivals and stuff and playing music I didn't care for, but he seemed cool. And they all kind of look like Pete Seeger, really, Tom. They all have facial hair and they wear some kind of gray Vanzini hat, and then they play mandolins, banjo. They play anything but an electric guitar. You know what I mean? Anything but. Closely to the U.S., the experimental pickups in an acoustic. Someone's got a D28 with a pickup in it. Whoa! Because it's 1983. Ooh.
That's interesting. Billy Baloney says Dr. Z stuff is built 2 miles down the road from him.
That's awesome. That's like when I found Trinity amps are made just outside of Brighton. Like, I know exactly where because I looked at it on Google Maps. I was like, oh, that's out by Rich Mutton's house. I know where that is. It's out in the country type thing, off of one of the concession roads type thing. I was like, I totally know where that is.
LRM Guitar says Strat most copied guitar. Well, I would say Strat.
The Strat shape,
Tele.
I'd say the Strat shape is the most copied guitar. Think about it. Every first ad.
Hey, Randy.
See you, Randy.
Yeah,
Go play your new
Randy.
Epi. You got the Muse SG, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's see.
That was a happy dance for Randy.
I bet you. I bet you, Terry, if I just scroll back. Oh, well, there she is.
Hey, Mad Dog.
What's up, Mad Dog?
What's
we
up,
got
nerds?
the blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the colors on those were
Is it metallic?
Yeah.
I like.
I think
that.
it seems to me the blue has metal flake and it's got the clear knobs.
I want to change the clear knobs, but other than that, I love everything.
See, no, I remember when Eljon was showing these to me at NAMM. That was the thing that got me, Tom, because I was like, it's like Josh Scott got an Epiphone and got, because what else would you, clear knobs, right? And I was like, it's got clear knobs. He's like, yeah, it's got this and it's got these pickups. I'm like, yeah, but it's got clear knobs. And we got all these, like, yeah, but clear knobs. He's like, yes, clear knobs. Yes, clear knobs. Hashtag clear knobs. So apparently they were put on for people like me, so.
There you go.
Yeah. And yet I would never put clear knobs on a guitar. Normally I don't know what it is. It's something about the Muse. They're different because they got a different color and the clear knobs. It's like so many wackiness things going on. It's a culmination of coolness.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It'd be like, I don't know, Terry. I ordered a new Epiphone Les Paul Standard, but it got shipped to Ryan Burke first, and he got to play with it. Here you go. I refinished it. Oh, cool.
Great. I
Put clear knobs on it.
School
By
bus
the way,
yellow Les Paul.
I believe if he hasn't already, he's got to be darn close. Congrats on 100,000 subs to 60 Cycle Hum. I know they were within like 100 subs a day or two ago, so they must have passed by now. So, yeah.
Hey, Tinkerbell.
What's up, Tink? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Let me guess, you've now bought all the pedals and half the guitars.
Maybe that's why he's away all his time working to get all the money to buy all that stuff.
I am really behind the times, so apparently he hit 100,000 last Wednesday.
Yeah.
What's up, Mayhem?
And actually, I believe Justin Williams has hit over 1 million. Because I think I seen Big D Guitars making a guitar out of the gold YouTube.
I don't know who that is. I'll be honest.
Justin Johnson. That's who it is.
Okay.
It's the guy who plays slide.
Still doesn't ring a bell. That means nothing, based on certain, lifestyle choices. Things like this happen.
Yeah.
Like when we tried to play Famous Not Famous involving the chat last night. And they're like, how about all these people? I'm like, I don't know who they are. But I did say Mitch Malloy first. And I think that was that is the epitome. Prime example of famous, not famous.
Hey, Mayhem. He also snuck in.
Sort of like Trans-Siberian Orchestra is way more famous than Sabotage. Let's face facts.
Yeah.
You know, my mom went to a Trans-Siberian Orchestra show more than once, I believe. I'm just saying, you know. Then again, awesome. When in doubt, do a Christmas album. Never hurts.
And that's the only thing you got to do every year is a Christmas album. A Christmas.
I'm trying to think, who was I watching that was told to do a Christmas album? I was watching a documentary on somebody, and he was like, "You should do a Christmas album." He's like, "But I'm Jewish." I was like, "All the songs are written by Jewish people anyway, so you might as well do it." Well, that's kind of a fact. Like all those hits in the 50s. All coming out of those hit factories in Philadelphia and New York. And
Andrew Walton goes, I know who Dustin Johnson is on my timeline on Facebook. Well, at least someone does or understands who I'm trying to say. You'd have to be into slide guitar to be into him. Anyways.
Well, fine. Burst my bubble, Billy. What, you get like half a Sabotage in one and half Sabotage in the other? K-Tel, great label. If I was to sign a record with a record label, Tom, it'd be K-Tel.
Oh,
just
God,
because.
K-Tel.
Guess who was signed to K-Tel for a period of time?
Sounds like it's a company from the 50s. K-Tel Records.
They were out of Winnipeg, and they did lots of compilation albums. And at first, Tom, the compilation albums, this is how cheap they were. It wasn't the original recordings. They had the K-Tel artists re-record and put that out. Most of the time with lyrics, but not necessarily all lyrics. Always with. Like,
and wasn't it always?
Because I'm like, you know, this kind, because we had a few of those compilation albums around growing up, and I'm like, this kind of sounds like the song on the radio, but different. I don't know. It just sounds more vanilla. I don't know what it is. You know, it's the K-Tel Players. Hey, we're the K-Tel Players.
That would be a good prank. You put all the take a bunch of local cover bands and take all the tracks from them, put them together and assemble an album, and just put the thing, hook it up to your car when you're riding with the buddy, and be like, yeah, this is a sweet child of mine. And he's like, why is it a woman singing and she's out of tune on the one part? And then why is there like a guy playing bass way too loud on it? Oh, no, this is the cover version.
What's up, Andrew? I love that. I just signed a 12 CD deal with Columbia House.
There you go. Hey, Andrew.
Columbia Records? No, Columbia House. Billy Baloney knows K-Tel. They used to advertise on TV too. I think they would buy a lot of catalogs up and then re-release, repackage, and sort of like Rhino Records did the same thing, right? Just bought all these old catalogs, or the publishing rights at least. Whatever, I don't know how that stuff works. Distribution rights, I guess. Yeah, that'd be it.
Okay, so yeah, I was right. It's Justin Johnson.
Brunswick County. 1.2 something now. Andrew said 1.27, 1.29. It's probably 1.3. Hey, Greta Zeppelin.
Hey, Gretchen Zeppelin and 5150.
Famous, not famous. We did last night, Keith. We did cover Russ, aka Satchel.
Every time I hear Satchel, I confuse him with Voldemort.
Or Tom. How about was
Satchel
famous?
Page.
Or how about was famous because in huge band, totally could probably walk the streets now, but people think he's still in the band. Izzy Stradlin.
No,
Right?
yeah.
Like, isn't he still with the band? No, that's Richard Fortas. Really? Yeah, he's good, but it's like, no, that's Izzy over there. He hasn't done shit in years.
That's funny.
He does an album every few years. That's the cool thing about Izzy. I love Izzy.
Kind of like at first when Buckethead took over Slash's spot, everybody was like going, Slash is looking funny lately.
That top hat kind of fell down, didn't it?
Yeah. And then it's like all of a sudden, no, wait a second. That's not Slash.
The guys in the cheap seat. Slash is wearing a white top hat. Man, his tone hasn't sounded like this in a while. Yeah, man.
He has a white theater mask on his face. Yeah, he's in his theater phase.
Yeah. Yeah, what's he wearing? I don't know. It was Axel's idea. Oh, okay.
Be right back.
No problem.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
One of the first.
Dan New Jersey says, I like Columbia House because it forced me to buy CDs, which was a good thing. Me too. Like it worked out just like as long as you didn't fall prey and not send that card back in time, Terry, and get the deal of the month, right? As long as you made sure to do that, which cost you a postage stamp, like it didn't work. And especially, I don't know if it was like a lot of times it'd be like 8 for a penny or 9 for a penny or 10 for, but every once in a while they do one like a 12 for a penny deal, right?
Yep.
Every once in a blue moon. One time I found a singlet for a 14 for a penny. So I'm like, that right there, I know it's going to pay for itself for the, it was still, the 8 cassette obligation or whatever, right? And you ever notice, whenever you join, you only ever got 10 and then cards for the rest, because they would only ever just send that single 10 pack.
Yep.
Because it was always 1 plus 10 or 1, 2 plus 10, whatever it was. You never got the full order. You only got the 10 pack every freaking time.
Or the ones that you'd want the most, they'd be the ones that they'd force you to send in or say, oh, just pay a cent now and we'll send you the 2 remaining ones. And it's like, you bastards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember, it's like my sister was, I joined, because as soon as I fulfill, I'd quit right away, right?
Yep.
And then reapply. And just, I don't know, like my cousin and me, we both did, half a dozen times, probably, and it'd be literally, I get a 10 pack, you'd open up, and it'd just be two bands in that 10 pack. Because I've like, back catalog of this band, back catalog of this band. And it's just the way it was.
Mayhem. The catch was 14 CDs for a penny, but they're all Anne Murray's greatest hits.
Keith met Flash in the bathroom during his Batman t-shirt days. Nice.
Trying to think.
And I found the Columbia House albums a little bit better, like the cassettes a little bit better quality.
Yeah.
A little higher fidelity.
Oh my God, Tom's on fire.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
I didn't see anything.
Like, I'm sure Columbia House in the U.S., Tom, was like at some American address, obviously, but Columbia House in Canada was in Scarborough, and my cousin lived in Scarborough, and for some reason we had to go somewhere, and we're driving by. I'm like, literally, Tara, I'm like, where's Columbia House? Because the back of the warehouse backed up to the, say Markham Road or one of those major roads, and they're right off Markham Road. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm like, I bet you, I so want to go in there and be just, ow.
Yeah, I think like talking about actually doing the scam of the looping thing like you're talking about, I think there was a record once that somebody actually had the world record or something for it, and it was like 20 or 25 times they were able to get that thing, and it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then Columbia House got smart enough and said, nope, same address, blah, 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 blah. Don't care if the name's different. I know what it was, Terry.
Our deal was always less cassettes in Canada than the U.S., and I had an American Hit Parader. That's where I got the 14 for a penny ad.
Yeah.
And I think I clipped everything but the address off the very bottom. So it just, they're like, well, fuck, it's a Columbia House ad, Yeah. But I was saying, Tom, did you ever join Columbia House?
No.
It was weird. Like, no matter what the deal was.
I think one of my sisters did that.
You know, like whether it was because it was always one album at a regular price and, you know, and 10 for a penny or 12 for a penny. They only ever sent you a 10-pack and then a gift card for a free album because they would never do the separate packaging because of cost of shipping. So they'd only send that single 10-pack of cassettes. And it got to the point where I joined for the fifth time. You open it up and it's just 2 bands. It's like, yes, back catalog. It's like, I'm binge watching. Like, you would do that. Instead of like binge watching a TV show, you'd binge listen to a band. I'm going to listen to 5 of their albums back to back. There's my evening.
Mayhem. I'm still waiting for my sea monkeys from my Mad Magazine ad.
Hey, I'm still waiting for my picture pages from Captain Kangaroo.
I used to do that.
Seriously, my mom ordered it and I never got it.
I used to do them. They were good. I like those.
Wow.
Because we had to contact the Rochester PBS station to get it because it was an American show. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll send to Canada. I'm like, oh, far out. Never got it. Never got it. Picture pages. Never got it.
Mayhem doesn't have to wait for him, though. He can grow them.
It's been a damp spring. You might already have. Actually, aren't they just like shrimp or something like that?
Yeah. That was the weird thing about it, was like what they actually were.
Yeah, some weird freeze-dried shrimp. Okay.
Captain Kangaroo looked like a freaking serial killer, I'll tell you that.
I think he was ex-military, wasn't he? He wasn't an actual captain, but he was in the military.
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
He was
trying to
weird
remember.
looking though, man.
There was somebody else. Oh,
Freeze-dried brine shrimp, that's what it was.
yeah. What's his name there? Who did the painting? Bob
Ross.
Bob Ross. He was supposed to be like ex-military.
Yeah, I think he was too. Yeah, it was like an paratrooper or something like that. Like, not just general infantry or he was a cook in the military. No, he was like hardcore. He was like, So did he use painting as a relaxation therapy, perhaps? Let's just put a little sniper in right here.
And here we'll put the missile silo and cover it up with.
And I loaded Dylan. I saw Dylan pop in. Yes,
hey Dylan.
Ben, you can't do any better than that, man.
I think I tossed up Dylan an easy one this week for what the facts. What the fact? What the fact? Dylan, the cheap companies make tuners, so the expensive companies sure as hell can get off their ass and make a tuner, so we can have our complete pedal board by a certain company, whatever your favorite company is. I'm just saying. That was my rant, Tom. Why don't more companies make tuners?
Don't know.
Because it's like you have your Boss, you have your Korg, and Korg just kind of does just a tuner for whatever reason. And your strobe and your whatever. But then you got all the Amazon website. They all make tuners, all the jungle tuners.
Brian Hall's asking if I got the Ventures. What's the Ventures?
Yeah, that's.
I remember the band, the Ventures, back in the day.
Yeah.
Ventures.
But I don't get what the question is. I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm sorry. LPD tuna, man.
Yeah, I used to love watching Bob Ross. I remember I used to PVR that stuff. Watch that.
Peterson Strobo clip. I'm really seriously thinking about grabbing.
It was like Tom. It was like Jon Stewart and Half Baked. I remember Bob Ross started coming on like in the mid 2000s, right? So I started watching it, and I hadn't watched it since I was a kid. So it was literally like, have you ever watched it? Hi. Because it's one of those things, you're watching it, and all of a sudden, your mind would wander for just 30 seconds, 40 seconds. All of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute, something appeared and you'd have to rewind. So my girlfriend at the time, she'd come over on a Friday, and on a Friday, I'm like, want to watch Bob Ross? She's like, really, the painting guy from when we were kids? And I'm like, yeah. Get lit, and she's like, this is awesome. I'm like, I know, it's life-changing, isn't it? She's like, yes. It's even better now. Like, I liked it before, but I'm like, yeah, it's even better now, isn't it? Yep. It's like, oh, he's going to build a stream. That's all. Yeah.
And there's been times watching Bob Ross where I was like, oh, no, don't do that. Oh, okay. All right, that works. Okay, all right, keep going.
Exactly, Dylan. Thank you for my. I couldn't remember what my question was, but yeah, I'm not going to mention the question here because it's over there. But yeah, exactly. With all the other variants of doing things that I asked about, why not? So I used to watch SpongeBob after a puff, Chris.
As I used to jokingly say, SpongeBob hemp pants.
Well, I remember at that time, the girlfriend's friends had a bunch of kids that were SpongeBob watching it, like they were the demographic. They're like, all in SpongeBob. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like SpongeBob. They're like, you watch SpongeBob? I'm like, I watch SpongeBob. Like, our dads don't watch SpongeBob. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not like your dads. Guess what, Terry? Within 5 years, all their dads were like me. Based off certain lifestyle choices. I think they got worn down and they're like, I need stress relief. Soa says, not sure about the rest of you, but we got SCTV on the CBC here in Michigan with a decent antenna. I think it was also shown on NBC in the US, as well as... Oh, speaking of Sketchcom, did you see, Terry, who's back in the Sketchcom world?
Yeah, you talking about the kids in the hall?
I am.
Yeah, I mentioned that a while back. Actually...
Right. We're 1 for 1. Yeah, they're on Amazon Prime, I think.
Yes.
One of those.
14th.
Yep.
They start. So if you got Amazon Prime and you like the Kids in the Hall TV series, definitely hop on Amazon
Mix of returning
Prime.
characters and new ones.
I still like the one preview. They're all the Canadian cops. Don't move or we'll shoot. Don't you move, or I will crush it. I will crush it.
Crush the CN Tower. He's holding the CN Tower hostage, Tom. It's like complete stand. One movement, I'll crush it. I shall crush it.
Meanwhile, he's just sitting there in like a lawn chair.
Yeah, lawn chair in like the middle of
Dundas shows Square. It, and there's the CN Tower in between his fingers, and he's like,
I will crush it.
I will crush it.
All right, Janice. We're with you.
Hey, Janice.
Yeah, take care, Janice.
I'm thinking of you, darling.
We'll keep you in our thoughts for
So
sure.
sorry for you.
Harry Weird Al.
Yes, there's the Weird Al biopic coming out with what's his name, Harry Potter.
Oh yeah. It's interesting because Daniel
like
Radcliffe.
Yeah, that's it.
I never thought that he would do any good, but then when you see him in that preview image, it's like, holy shit, he's not far off of.
He looks like
Weird Al.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool too, because they especially because like the phone call. Hey, I'm gonna do a spoof of one of your songs. What? Who? What? Who? Okay, and then a few years later, hey, will you do a spoof of one of my songs? It became that. In many ways, like that was a badge of honor, right? That's how you knew you were a real art. You made a mark is when Weird Al would do a spoof on you.
He's playing Weird Al in a movie, though.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a biopic, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's what it goes on about that early thing about Weird Al contacting all these people, like Ben said, saying, "Hey, I'd like to do a variation on your song, whatever."
And Dylan was asking, Janice's her man in her life passed away today, unfortunately, this evening at a hospice, unfortunately. And so we're thinking of Janice tonight. Yep. Who plays Dr. Demento? I don't know who plays Dr. Demento, but who plays him as a gig? Weird Al. Weird Al will show up at Dr. Demento and play live. Because why not?
Said that, and I thought Dr. Disrespect.
I'll still say it to this day. UHF is one of the best movies.
I dressed up as Dr. Disrespect for Halloween one year.
Nice.
Very few people knew who I was. But.
And UHF is possibly one of the best movies of all time.
I still don't think I've actually caught it. I think I might have caught parts of it, but I don't think I ever caught the whole thing.
it holds up. In my opinion, it holds up. Because you think, it was at the time. Like when you think back at that time, and they're just trying to run a cable access TV station with evil takeover. It's always an evil takeover, Terry. You know how it is. Whether it's the evil guy trying to buy the ski hill or shut down the summer camp.
Or the beer factory.
It's usually some douche canoe in a polo shirt, and with side part, wearing deck shoes. My father, blah, blah, blah. You know the type, Tom. But we'll fight back. We're a gritty bunch. We'll win in the end. And we get the girl too, which is sometimes Nancy McKinnon for some reason. I don't know why. Just to grab a random 80s name.
There you go.
Yeah, because the rich dad wants to buy the lake or something to develop it.
Keith Campbell actually got to see Weird Al. Nice.
That'd be cool. Oh, I say that would be cool, Terry. However, I know somebody that went to see Weird Al a few years ago, and guess what? He didn't do any of the parodies.
Oh,
it was just his original songs, which I enjoyed when I was 13, but I don't know if I would want to sit through that now.
Yeah, true enough. Hey, John. And I think he's even got recent stuff too that he's.
Yeah, it should have been. Actually, it was a really good song, Ryan Hall. Actually, it was a well done song. Yeah, as I recall.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember UHF.
Yeah, they had such, they had commercials throughout the movie, Terry, like Spatula City.
David saying
Spatula City. Spatula City.
Oh, yeah. Airheads, yeah. That was another really good movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Brandon Fraser in that one?
Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, and... Oh, dang it. Steve Buscemi.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's been so long since that movie, but yeah.
I do remember Pinky and the Brain. I enjoyed Pinky and the Brain.
What are we doing today, Brain? Like we do.
Same thing we do every day. Take over the world. That's a trick question, Doug. Who would win a fight between Lemmy or God? Lemmy is God.
Depends.
That's how you beat the devil or the Grim Reaper.
Depends on.
Oh yeah, Joe Montana was on that too. Yep.
Insane.
Well, we've hit about the hour and a half mark. I'm trying to think. What do we got coming up this week, Terry? He's like, I don't know. You don't tell me. In theory, NAS Canucks will be back, Keith, tomorrow night at a time. Let's say 8:30 p.m. I don't know. Doug's not here. Let's say 8:30-ish. Talking about the races I watched today. Where did they run today? Darlington, right? Throwback weekend, Tom. Ha-ha! Corey LaJoy. Fun fact, I don't know if you knew, but country music star Marty Robbins used to also run a NASCAR. And it wasn't his Winston Cup car paint scheme throwback, because all the drivers doing throwback paint schemes and stuff. It was a throwback to the car he used to run weekly at the Nashville Fairgrounds. So, really cool. Really cool to see. And I remember, fun fact, quick story. So Marty Robbins, he's just giving her, right, Tom? And high banks. I don't know. It's short track, but fast, right? He's winning. He's winning the race. All of a sudden, pulls off the track, Terry. Pulls into the pits, gets out of the car. And then everyone's like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I got a set at the Opry. I can't be late. Because you cannot be late to show up at the Opry. That's a big no-no. So he was actually leading the race, but the race had started late. He thought he had enough time. And so, yeah, hopped out of the car, went over to the Opry, and did his thing. So, yeah. So it was Marty Robbins. That was the throwback of the weekend to see. So I'm just saying that was cool. That was really cool. They always do throwbacks at Darlington, which I love. And it was cool to see. So Yeah, we'll be doing Ask Canucks. I'll do some kind of soda pop tasting for Wednesday, I'm sure. I guess I got to shoot that tomorrow at some point. And I'm mowing the lawn and doing yard work. Well, you know what, Tom? I have a feeling the video's going to be shot in the garage, probably. Sunglasses, basically. These glasses will be tinted because I will come in from mowing the lawn, or before I mow the lawn, do the tasting. Maybe I'll do that, and then while I'm mowing the lawn, upload the video. And then Friday, maybe we'll have the grub screws taken care of. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll probably grab a different guitar and do a random video that may or may not result in me fixing a guitar. It's a coin toss with those videos. Just because you see a guitar on the workbench does not mean it's getting fixed. That's been me lately. So, yeah, the 777 car, Keith.
And now with the warmer weather,
yes,
that means that there's the possibility of a resurfacing of an instrument or changing of an instrument by you too.
Ooh. We could do that, Tom.
Send all your guitars you want either refinished, or if they're stripped, you want them painted to Ben.
Oh, there is one here that I think I'm supposed to refinish too. That's right. Oh, that's right. I could get on that project or project. That's only been sitting there for a year. Right, Mayhem?
You can also you can get on that project.
Yeah, I'm not saying you dropped a guitar off here a year ago for a thing, Terry, but I'm pretty sure it's been here a year. Barbecue update. I am
counting.
I think because I think I got a couple super chats last night. I think I am 60% of the way to the barbecue.
Nice.
Check the numbers. I'll know when it comes in another week or so, week and a half.
My neighbor over the weekend.
But I think I have a feeling, I do have. We got Steve from Boston coming up this coming Sunday. That's right. And then the next Sunday is my birthday hang, and you folks are kind of nice on my birthday, I'm just saying. So we'll probably get the barbecue taken care of. Hopefully. That'd be nice.
So what were you saying, Tom, about your neighbor?
Oh, they were barbecuing this weekend, and it just smelled so good. I was walking around the neighborhood. It smelled so good. The guy looked over. I just gave him the thumbs up,
Like,
I wanted
here's
to
the thumbs up. It would be
something.
my other finger if you would maybe not be so nice to give me something.
John asks, how old am I? I'm 47. We'll be turning 48. Yay. I'm really staring down 50 at this point. It's coming.
Hey, that's me next year.
There you are. Older than me. Younger. He's like, I'm the kid.
Tom's like, go on. I still got a while to go yet.
Have I decided on my birthday strain of the day? No, I have edibles for my birthday. And whatever weed I may or... No, Mayhem has some. So, yeah, Cindy 99. And then we have some Blue Dream Hybrid. I think that says, yeah. And then we have
It's a different chemical. 11 hydrox.
And then we have this one, Tom, which is Green Crack Sativa.
What a name!
They now give you the strain in the edible. Because, it used to be just, with edibles, it's just what it is. And it might, tell you sativa or hybrid or indica. Now they're like, it's extract from this strain. You're like, oh, okay.
BC
I am BC. I'm starting menopause.
Been starting menopause. That's what I said. Oh, it must be menopause.
Shouldn't it be womanopause?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe we go
Well, it happens to the woman, but shit, name it after the men anyway, okay?
Yeah. So, on that note, parting words, Terry?
Thanks for those that watched my recent video. In case you wondered what was different, I now have a 7 guitar rack.
Nice.
Got from the people of the giant Amazonian place for 76 Canadian.
The Jungle website, I think. No, I got mine from the Evil Empire. Or the other evil empire, because they're all evil empires. I got from Long McQuaid for some reason.
And lastly, rest in peace, David. I never was able to actually join that show. I was glad that I was the moderator, though, on the side with some of the things that
We
did
had you
occur.
on, did we not?
No.
Oh, we had you when it was still Ned Says.
Yes.
Right. Because I know, like, at that point, it was the end
But
of
not
Ned
the
Says,
tribute
but I
show.
was already on the show because I was like, I know we did a hang together on that channel.
Yeah, but I wasn't on the tribute show. So,
Right.
David was an awesome guy. Again, the world needed more David Nasdalls in it than what there is right now. So,
I think for the outro music, I'll do Dave's thing tonight.
Yeah.
I still have it
That'd be
in
nice.
the cards.
So if you can kind of inspire to be the kind of person that David was, that would be awesome.
True. Tom? You spent some time with Dave virtually, I know. Because I remember Dave going, hey, how do I get a hold of that Bent Tom guy? I want to get him on. Here. I'm like, you're probably already friends with him on Facebook. This is his actual name. I am. Yeah, message him. He'll come on. He's a good guy. Parting words, Tom?
No, I mean, he was, speaking of Dave, he was just really kind to me when I was ill, even though he wasn't feeling good a lot of the time. He kind of confided in me about that, but was like, don't tell anyone or talk to anyone about this. And like, Ben knows about all this stuff too, but I just don't want the public as a whole to know. But he was really sweet. He would call me when I was at the hospital. Hey, how are you doing today? Like, he would call me or text me every day, and like weeks on end.
Right.
Because I was in the hospital a total of 5 weeks, and in physical therapy, like an outpatient or inpatient rather, physical therapy for 1 week. So hospital type situations for a month and a half. And he would always, hey, how's your day going? How's everything going? Or he would call, and I was sitting there and I couldn't do anything. I was just sitting there in a hospital bed, and I'm like, he's like, I don't feel great today. But I'm like, well, tell me how you're so funny. He's like, nah, you don't want to hear that. And then he would just tell me funny ass stories.
I was going to say, you would probably say hello and you hear, hey, Tom, how you doing?
Yeah, he would just start talking.
Dave talked high on the phone. He had a higher
Yeah.
pitched voice on the phone for what. Every time I dance phone, I'm like, what's up? Hey, Ben, how you doing?
Yeah. You'd be like, did I get you eating dinner? I can let you go.
Yeah.
And it was funny because
Right?
Dave always, like, was himself online, the same he was. The only difference I can say is, like, if he picked up I was having a rough day and it wasn't good or whatever, he would shock you and tell you like a dirty story that, not that it was like pejorative or that it was just really mean to any one person. And usually he would make himself the butt of his own jokes,
Right.
but he would just whip off these one-liners, just hilarious stuff. And he's like, no, you can't repeat that. Like, okay. But, and I'm like, oh, you're just trying to cheer me up. But yeah, he will definitely be missed,
You will for sure. I'm going to miss Dave for sure. That's for sure. I keep saying for sure. For sure, for sure. On that note,
Yes,
that's
definitely.
Bean Terry. He's still Tom. I'm still Ben. You're still you. That's how it works. Unless someone filled out a form during the show. I don't think so. As always, hold those doors open. Thanks, everybody. Oh, yeah. Thanks, everybody that tuned in. Shout out to the mods. Oh, you guys are here. Never mind. Shout out to you guys. Yeah. And thanks everybody for your continued support. Appreciate it. We're gonna do a Zoom hang, not this Wednesday, but Wednesday of next week, I think. So for those that are on the Zoom calls, we'll be doing it. For channel members and patrons, we do a Zoom calls a few times a month. So next Wednesday evening. So cheers, rock on, hold those doors open, let Doug's wife in ahead of you in traffic. Because as my sister said last night, she's real. Peace be with you. Sure. Happy tone chasing, why don't you? Make a new friend. Bring a new friend over here once you make it. Please. Helps the channel out. And we'll say goodnight to looking at some cool photos of Dave holding some cool guitars with the Guitar Town Hall theme, which is going to be stuck in my head now for a day and a half. Peace, folks. And don't let her.